You will need a compass, scissors, a ruler, a wooden knife, a finishing tool, a bevel cutter, and a cup of water. The first step in creating a template for your cylinder is choosing how large you want to make your base. For my base, I'm going to do 1 3/4 inches. I'm going to lay my compass on my paper, take my pencil and place it in the notch where that 1 3/4 inches is. I'm going to hold the compass down and I'm going to then move the compass around to form this circle just like this. In order to find the length of my wall, I need to use the equation C equals 2 times 3.14 times R. R stands for radius, so you need to plug in the number that you have for your radius of your base. My answer came out to 10.99, which I'm just going to go ahead and round to 11. I'm going to make sure my ruler's flat up against the bottom of the page and make a little mark at 11. And then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to lay it on that 11-inch mark and measure up for the height of my wall. I'm going to make a mark at 4 inches tall, and then I'm going to move the ruler over to the other side where I'm also going to make another 4-inch mark. I'm going to use my ruler to line up those two 4-inch tall marks. I'm then going to draw a nice straight line, and then I'm going to connect that top line down to the 11th inch mark to get the wall of my cylinder. Roll a slab for your cylinder and then take your template and lay it on top of the slab. You will then use your knife side of your finishing tool to carefully cut out the shapes for your cylinder. Now begins the fun part of putting your cylinder together. You're going to start with your base and use your finishing tool to start scoring the side of your base. Once you go one direction, you're then going to switch and go the other. Then we move on to the wall. You're going to need your bevel cutter, and you want to take and line that wooden part right up against the clay and pull straight back towards you. Then you are going to flip your wall and you will bevel the opposite side. Save these little pieces for later. Trust me, you'll use them. Now we're going to go ahead and score the bottom of the wall. We're going to add some water, which is super important, and then we're going to go ahead and score the sides of our wall as well. It might be easier if you lay a paper towel on the table because it will keep your cylinder from sticking directly to the table. I would even recommend a dry paper towel or one of the canvas sheets. You're now going to go ahead and attach these two pieces together, and you want to make sure that you're really pushing the wall into the base so that those score marks interlock together and they won't come apart. Your two ends are going to meet up really nicely, just like this. And then you can smooth those over with either your finger or your wooden knife. It's important to make sure the seam on the side of the wall is nice and smoothed over, along with the seam along the bottom of your cylinder. Use your wooden knife tool to smooth the seam on the inside of the cylinder. Remember these pieces we set aside? We're going to use those to now fill in the seam along the base. Score these pieces and add a little bit of water, and then you are going to use your wooden knife to push those two pieces of clay together to make sure that seam is nice and closed and smoothed over. Once that seam is closed, take a sponge and smooth out the inside of your cylinder along with the outside. This will make a nice finished looking piece. When choosing where to place the design, we want to stay away from the seam on the wall of the cylinder. You can either directly add the facial features right onto the wall, or you can mold the clay a little bit to show where you want some of these features to be. I'm going to start molding by starting with my eyes. I'm going to use 2 fingers on the outside to push the clay down where I want the eye sockets to be, while I simultaneously push the clay up from the inside of the cylinder to show where the nose is going to be. I'm going to refine this a little bit, and then I'm going to move on to where the nose is going to end and the mouth is going to be as well. If you want to add cheekbones, you can push the clay out from the inside of the cylinder while also pushing the clay down on the outside of the cylinder. This will just give you a good idea of where your facial features will be and a nice start to your design. After you finish the face design, you want to choose what type of handle you're going to put on your mug. You could do a simple coil just like this one. You could roll out a slab and make a small little slab handle. You can make a braid, which is just 3 small coils braided together, or a twist, which is just 2 small coils twisted together. When adding a handle onto your mug, you want to think about which side the handle needs to go on in order for you to hold the mug properly. You can try different handle designs like this half heart shape, or you can even do a more rounded out circular shape like this right here. Whichever design you choose is completely up to you. This is how you're going to add on your handle to your mug. I'm going to do a half heart shape with this slab handle right here. You want to make sure that you slip and score everything properly and you add water to wherever the clay is attaching to another piece of clay. Once you have your handle attached to your mug, you may want to take the wooden knife and smooth down areas of your handle depending on what kind of style or look you want for your mug. Whenever you add a handle onto a mug, you want to turn it so you're looking right at the handle. You want to make sure the handle is nice and straight, and if not, then move it until it is. If your handle seems like it is not super secure, what you can do is take a small little coil and you can place it around the area where the handle is attached to the mug to really make that nice and secure. And that's how you make a face mug.